good morning, loves. It is another day, another writing vlog. I'm not gonna lie, I was like this close to forgetting I had to do a vlog today, or wanted to do a vlog. Had is a very strong term, but yes, I almost forgot that I was gonna do a vlog today until I was like in the middle of watching the podcast for the day, and I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm supposed to be doing a vlog today. So I'm like, okay, let me go ahead and get this started and remember throughout the day, but we are working on Peter's Shadow today. I'm excited about it. This will be the first time taking you guys through it, but it is towards the end. I would say I'm on like the last half of the book. And apologize for any yipping you hear in the background because my dog is doing his thing. We're working on Peter's Shadow today, or Distorted Reality 1.5, meaning it comes between book 1 and book 2. I'm working on book 3, but I am been needing to get this one done for years since the first book got done. And it's just been more or less something that's been getting kind of like worked on slowly. And this year I'm just like, I need to get this done. Because it's not supposed to be a long book. It's probably going to be more so novella length. I will go ahead and show you the page count that I have so far, and even the previous chapter because I was excited for it. I finally cracked into it as far as in, for some reason, I can't explain it. I've had writer's block before on plenty of occasions, but with this book, for some reason, it's like every time I was going to it, it was like I had writer's block, but in more of a weird state where it's not like I can't think about what's supposed to be happening and I'm just like, it's not like a blank page writer's block. It was more like I was trudging through water waist deep, and it's like I could only see like a line or two in front of me, and maybe not even that when I'm writing, no matter how fresh I was to get on to writing it. It normally, when I get into like a flow state of writing or whatever, it's like I can just like, I'm just going. I can sometimes think like lines, paragraphs, whatever ahead. I'm just like, yes, I want to do this, 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 and it's just like going. But with Peter's Shadow, for some reason, it was just like, no matter what I did, I'm enjoying the book itself. I'm just not enjoying writing it, if that makes sense. Like, I feel like most cases I enjoy writing more so than editing, and maybe a little bit of both. But with this one, it's going to be a lot more of an enjoyable process once the book is written and I'm editing it, because I don't have to think about what needs to happen, because I came into it with an idea of what I wanted to happen, and I'm just like, I want to put in this time to get to here, and I'm actually today should be working on that part that I had the idea for, of basically the climax of the book. I should be working on today, and I'm excited for it because I think it'll be fun. And even though I'm a little bit tired, and even though I'm not sure how much I'm going to get written today, because I am just a little bit on the tired side, but I'm at the climax part, so I'm excited for it, because this was literally the idea for the book. There was like 2 points of ideas, that basically the intro that I had an idea for, that I was going to more or less have it as a short story, and it was going to be the intro and then kind of like this part, more or less. And I'm just excited for it, and I'm just like, there's been so much put into this that it's not a slow book, like by far. It deals a lot more with the spiritual fantasy aspect than the first book even. So this was just more so something that was fun. But like I said, something about it just was kind of just making it hard to write, even though like everything around it was something that I was in concept enjoying. But just, it was like there was this barrier there that I just had to keep pushing through and could not like get too far in. But then last time I finally cracked into it, and I'm going to see if it still is working wise. I cracked through it, so hopefully I'll be able to get the end of it or the rest of it relatively easy. I don't know. I just know at least last time was not as difficult, because I tied in things that I was not intentionally tying in when I started it, that wasn't even fully conceptualized at the start of it, but I figured it would be fun. And let's just say the chapter you're going to see is kind of a hint towards things that I'm tying into it that I'm excited about. And I'm just, it deals with a lot of dream elements, and that was one part and concept that I was excited for to get into. And one thing that does make it easier to write when it is the dream concepts weirdly enough, I just enjoy writing dreams sometimes. They're just fun and just trying to figure out the different mechanics behind it. And so being able to dive into that, I think that is going to be, at least we're probably going to get one dream in today and get that climax and just like, I'm ready for it. So let's go ahead and get on with the day, and then we will figure out the rest of it when it comes to it. And I will sit down with you guys before I start writing. And it is breakfast, a late breakfast, a super, super late breakfast, but it's breakfast nonetheless. And I'm going to go ahead and eat and go ahead and start writing shortly afterwards, if not during. I haven't decided yet. I just know I'm hungry and almost too hungry to think at this point. But we are working on Peter's Shadow, like I said, and I will show you a glimpse of the previous chapter, and we're just basically working off of that. More or less, the idea that I have that I want to start with is they are going to be at home spending time together, her and her mom, and we're going to go ahead and probably that next chapter is going to be maybe a dream sequence and the climax afterwards. I don't know. That's the idea that I have, is it's going to be within the same day because we just got off of a time jump. And so I think it's a perfect time to just go ahead and get some stuff worked in that is slowing it down more so. Because with this one, it's a lot more of a time frame than Distorted Reality, because it is trying to like my usual deal of trying to give you a hint of an idea of what's going on before we do a time jump and then settle down more so again to figure out what's going on and time jump. So I think this is the second time jump I came after, and so my idea is that I'm going to do this. I might do this day and then the next day and then maybe the day after, but more than likely it's going to be a time jump relatively soon. But it's going to be like probably a few chapters, which I said that this is supposed to be a novella, but it's looking like it might be a little bit longer, like a short novel. I'll have to look up the definitions of what qualifies as a novel and what qualifies as a novella. And I know there's one that's in between or before a novella, I can't remember, but it's looking like it's going to be close to 100 pages if it's not already over 100 pages, because I know I'm hitting 20 chapters, if not longer, but some of them are shorter, so I don't know. We will see what it turns out to be. So let's go ahead and get some breakfast in. I don't have coffee, but we got some hot water again because it still hits that wants a hot drink but doesn't have the hot drink you would like type feel mostly. But hey, you gotta take what you can take. Let's go ahead and get on into it, and yeah. it's midday break. I got a couple chapters done. I was enjoying what I like. I'm glad that I got 2 chapters done, and I am hitting that climax. Like, I'm starting the 3rd chapter of today, which is the climax, and I was hitting a little bit of a wall there, but I don't necessarily want to say it was because this is Peter's shadow, which I also don't want to necessarily say it wasn't, because I know that is a habit of that has been the case. But I did manage to push through it, and ironically enough, not so ironically, it was out of doing a dream sequence. It just took a little bit of a push. But I will make a little note of I am hitting burnout. I was supposed to have last week off. I technically had last week off, but I did some major video edits because I was working on the Hunger Games commentary, and I think that kind of burnt me out more so as far as in I didn't get the rest that I should have and normally do by having that last week off, because it wasn't technically off, just off for writing. And yesterday I also had a little bit of a tired start, and I've not been getting rest like I should be, because it's just been a season of not getting the rest that I would like or that I need. But hey, we got to work with what we can work with. And yeah, so it could have been either or, but it wasn't as difficult. And this next part, I guess, will definitely tell if it is just the Peter shadow sludge I'm pushing through or if it is just burnout, because it is not. Like, it is the climax, so this is something that has been in my head, so should be relatively easy. So if it is not so easy, then yeah, I guess it is just the Peter shadow sludge I'm going through. Not that the book is sludge, but just like that is just feels like what it is going at. But I think it was a little bit of the last couple chapters before that, or before this, were actually pretty nice, and I enjoyed it. And I definitely, the one that you saw came out of kind of nowhere, and yeah, I'm excited for it because I don't want to talk too much about it, because I don't want to give things away that might not be as obvious. As said in the past, I have a habit of not knowing if something is as obvious as it is or isn't, so I try to just weigh it of, this is one of those things to where it would be preferred that it's not super obvious of what's going on, though it kind of is super obvious, at least to me. And it's just like, even if it is super obvious, there is more at play that isn't super obvious. I know that for a fact. So I'm trying to speak as little into it before readers actually get a chance to digest it and to kind of throw out their theories. So we'll leave it at that. But my goal is to at least get this chapter done for sure, the climax done. I don't know how long it's going to be. I don't suspect that it's going to be super long, but I don't know. And maybe, I don't have in mind the next chapter that I want to do, but if I could, since it's only a little after 3, then I could go ahead and get another chapter done and make it to where we work on 4 chapters today. So that'd be nice. It's not necessarily a writing sprint day, it's just a writing day, and most writing days I've been having as let's get as much done as we can kind of deal. And some days are a little bit more, like Sundays. If I'm writing on a Sunday, those usually are my writing sprint days, to where we are doing as much as possible, pushing the boundaries. But today, so I'll probably work on this until 5, which is like 4 to 5 is usually when I wrap it up. But since it's a late day that I started, and on late days that I start, I usually write just a little late. But since it's not a Sunday, I'm trying not to write super late. Like yesterday, I think it was nearly 7, if not 7, when I stopped writing. So yeah, today we are not doing that. I try not to do those 2 days in a row, let alone it being a weekday, which technically Sundays are weekdays for me, but I feel like there's a difference between a Sunday weekday and the rest of the weekdays. So yeah, I'm trying to make it to where I'm not writing until it's dinner time, even though it's close to it. Like, as far as, and I don't want to be writing up until dinner. No, I don't know. I can't explain it. I don't want to be writing past 5 o'clock today. Like, as soon as it's after 5, as far as in getting into the 6 o'clock era, then yeah, we need to wrap it up. So a chapter, maybe two, just depending on how long the chapter is and how long it takes to write. So let's go ahead and get to the rest of our day. And it is the end of the day, and I am done writing. I did manage to get the 3 chapters I had an idea that I wanted to get done, and I am glad about it. I also got the climax, so I'm so excited, which means I have 3 more times to work on it this year before I'm switching gears. My goal is to get it done by then, which I should be able to, because I have 2 more points of interest that I need to get in. One is a flashback scene that was already in book 1. I need to round into that one, which I could possibly get into that one because a lot of the breadcrumbs that I've been trying to leave for what has to happen next, I've already been more or less doing so. So my goal is probably next time I'm going to write the next day after the chapters that I wrote today, and then maybe do a time jump of a few days to a week to wrap in the flashback that I'm trying to wrap in, and then I need to go ahead and get the ending sorted out, which kind of is also a point that also is in the first book. But yeah, I don't want to spoil, even though it's not technically a spoil. If it is I don't know, it's complicated. So yeah, we'll leave it at that. But I could wrap it up in 2 more tries. 3 more times is perfect. And that's if I don't work on it a 4th time. I might. I don't know. I'm doing it once a month, but if I do have a month where it has 5 weeks instead of 4, I do it an extra day that month. So if we do have that, I'll have to look into what happens the next 3 months of, yeah, because that's where my schedule is pointed out, is I'm working on this once a month for the next 3 months, and then I work on a solo book for the rest of the year. So I'm trying to get it done because I would like to have this completely done and finished for the first draft. Now I do have an idea that I want to come back to this and work on it in a second point of view, the mother's point of view, but that would be more so like a later down the line addition type deal, because I feel like it's important to get this first one done in solely Madison's point of view, because I feel like if I do it in the mother's point of view, at this point it's going to give away things that I'm not wanting to give away just yet. But by the time I get around to doing a second edition of it and adding the mother's point of view, which I do want to do because I think it is important to get her point of view to kind of expand upon the story of what's going on, I feel like it has to wait until I get more out that kind of hint at it. Probably not until after book 5, maybe, but that also is only because I'm working on other books like 2.5, 3.5, 4.5. I feel like those are important to get done when I need to get them done, but definitely not now. That's not a now thing. Like, I want to have Peter's Shadow and then have 2 different versions of it towards this one with just Madison's point of view, and then a second version, like I said, maybe 10 years from now, with her mother's point of view in it as well. But yeah, because Peter's Shadow is not where I'm wanting to reveal a lot of these things that are going on, more so hint at it very vaguely, in between the lines type deal. So, like, as far as in, there are some things that are probably a little more hinted to than I'm seeing them as, but those ones are fine off if they are. It's just there's other things that are just very, like, I don't even think people will pick up on it if they pick up on it, but maybe they will, because there are like small pieces. But if it was in the mother's point of view, it would just reveal too much that I'm wanting to be revealed at this point in time. Like, as far as in, maybe it could be fine enough web novel version, but with the midquels, I don't know if that would be considered. With the novellas or the in-between novels, like the flashback novels, those aren't going to be web novels. So those ones are more akin to, they would be more aligned of revealing things that the published versions would be revealing them. So since the book 1 is not even out yet, it's like I don't want to publish book 1 and then 1.5 and then have it having a lot of secrets that aren't even dove into until book 3 or 4 or whatever. Like, I'm trying to keep my mind of, there's a difference of what the web audience is going to know, as far as in if they are up to date, compared to what the audience who are just reading them when they are with the physical copy, and trying to keep that in mind of what can be dove into and what cannot. Like, there is some things that I did in today's writing that kind of hints at things that was definitely influenced by book 3, but in a beneficial way of somebody who is reading this book. It's not really going to have spoilers, but either they come to later down the line and say, oh, hey, this link's in here, or even if they're reading it and then go back to read Peter's Shadow, they could like be like, oh, this link's in here. Like, those are the fun pieces that I'm willing to put in, but there's some pieces that are just like, because there's so many storylines that are happening under the surface, like, I'm just trying to juggle all of these in the right way. But that is it. And I'm excited for it. Like I said, I'm ready for this story to be done with in a... This one is more so one I'm ready to just be done with, because even though it is, I am enjoying the story itself, it is a hard write. Like, as far as it not emotionally hard, it is just, I don't know, mentally hard to get through. But it did work out better as far as it being the climax that I worked on. It wasn't as hard, and I did get basically the idea that I was already coming into the story with. So I'm glad about that. It's shifted slightly, but not nearly as much as I was expecting it could, because of it being like a small idea. I expected it to be like, I don't know, like, it worked out perfectly the way I was wanting it to. Not even in a sense of I'm not going to edit it. Of course I'm going to edit it, but as far as in, I doubt I'm going to edit it enough that it's going to change the idea. Like, the idea was there that I wanted to be, and it also helps with a lot of, it just ties in a lot of things, and I'm excited for it. That is it for this vlog. That is it for me for today. And yeah, what are you guys working on project-wise? Whether it be writing, art, whatever it be, comment below. I would love to hear. But I pray blessings upon you all. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good whenever it is for you. It is evening for me, so good evening to you. Goodbye.